everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wrestling Sheet Radio. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com, Editor-in-Chief Ryan Satin, here with my co-host, Kevin Silva.
Hey, guys.
And back with us again, Jay Washington.
I am glad to be back. This is my first time being on with Kevin.
Yeah, this is great.
I'm aware of that. You guys kind of like fill the same big guy quota, so I usually keep you guys off.
See, Bronson Reed was on NXT this week. We got us here. Just like the big boy energy, you know.
Definitely big boy energy. I probably should have fucked with that.
See, you messing with shit.
I know. I'll just leave it as I'm just so loud, and it was so loud in my ears. I'm just gonna pretend. I'm sure everything's fine. I'm gonna stop fucking with it. Hello, everybody. How's it going?
I'm just gonna pretend and hope for the best.
Yeah, just so you all know, I was the late one here today, so I'm a little flustered as I come in here because I made Kevin and Jay wait 15 minutes for me.
Fine.
No one's complaining.
Let's talk about. To me, I thought this was the biggest story of the week, personally, and that was Simone Johnson officially signing with WWE.
I mean, everybody knew it was going to happen, though.
You say that.
Because she had been at the PC
for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
You say that, but like because she had been doing this like peripheral training at the WWE Performance Center, like I wasn't sure how soon it would happen. Like when I went to the Performance Center, because they stopped keeping it a secret. I mean, it was a secret for a little while until it got reported on, and then she was like in pictures all the time at the Performance Center with all the talent. Even when they had a media day there for when NXT was premiering on USA Network, she was sitting there, picking the trainers, brains.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why it seems like a foregone conclusion. Like she's already,
but she's so young that they don't sign 18-year-olds that often.
Again, she's The Rock's daughter.
Absolutely. But also like you would think with someone like The Rock, want to go to college first. I think she is doing. I have a feeling because I talked to Roman Reigns at the press conference for WrestleMania 37 coming to LA. Yeah. And he mentioned that the family still wants her to be focused on her schoolwork as well. So I have a feeling she might be pulling like an Xavier Woods here where she's going to be like,
look, there's online classes.
No, totally. But still,
University of Phoenix, baby.
Let me tell you something. I am a proud Phoenix myself. Let me tell you something right now.
What's the mascot? Is there a mascot?
It's a computer chip. Clearly.
Okay, cool.
But regardless, I still think it's big news because with Charlotte Flair. She was already kind of like an adult at this point. At that point when she signed.
Charlotte was the person that you were like, she's. Ashley Flair's going into business, remember? You're like, that daughter's going in. Like, she'd never go in. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh.
And really, even with her, it was only because Reed passed away.
Right, and that was the only reason.
She was like, I'm taking on his dream, all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of anyone else along those lines, and I feel like it's been a long time, like since Charlotte Flair was there. There's nobody on that level.
There's nobody, no kid that right now that you can be like, yo, this kid is
right. I mean, Paige was young, but it wasn't like she was part of the
like
lineage.
The offspring of someone.
The Usos.
Because she's the first fourth generation superstar in WWE, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
like isn't it crazy? Like we grew up, we remember when The Rock debuted. And they were like, that's the son of Rocky Johnson and Peter Maivia.
Say that again?
Yeah.
Maivia?
Peter Maivia. And we heard it, and it was like shoved down our throat, and it led to the Die Rocky Die stuff. It was like, and then became the impetus for what became The Rock. So it's kind of crazy to come full circle now and see that his child is now being signed. And it's funny because it's like she's doing these sit-down interviews talking about the family legacy, and you're like, man, I am old, right? Don't you feel old watching that?
I just don't want to think about it. So,
if you could stop talking about it, that'd be
like
really
my
cool.
homie Chris Bay just posted on Twitter and Instagram.
24?
Yeah, like Chris is the homie, and I was like, bro, I'm thinking to myself, bro, if you ever mention your age out loud again, I'll come through the interwebs and get just
Yeah, we have our friend Eli for that we get to make fun of him for being the old one.
Okay.
Group,
I'm like slightly younger than Eli, slightly. And you're slightly younger than me. And then we have a nice gap to Jamie.
I'll say I'm much younger than you.
What?
Jesus.
I'm 35.
You said that with harshness, too. I'm much younger than you.
We were in the same Spanish class.
Well, I should say something about Kevin, not me.
What?
Because you're older. You're an older grade. Than
Well, I mean, I took my D and I carried on. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna just go on here, sit on back, and just let
Senora
this.
Bento Smith.
Yeah,
you
represent.
did nothing for
Senora
me.
Bento Smith.
Did nothing for me.
But Simone Johnson, you know, I think the big I just want to see her wrestle. There's been zero footage of her wrestling yet.
Right.
Considering she's been
that's what
training
I'm
for 2 years.
I'm super interested in that. That's like I mean, whatever. You could come up with your gimmick and you could come up with your mic skills later on. I want to see where she's progressing because I'm sure that's the main focus.
You would think.
I hope so.
I think they're gonna save her for that. Yeah, I think they're trying to save that footage because it's got to come out when she's about to debut. Damn near. You don't want to just have this look at her how she's been training, and then we still got to wait for her to have an in-ring match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whenever they decide she's going to NXT and they say, hey, we're going to bring in possibly the youngest woman in NXT to have just a match. It doesn't have to be a marquee match, but because it's her, it will be a marquee match. Then you start showing her at the Performance Center and her training and her and everything, her with her dad and all that stuff, you know? So you do all that then leading up to it.
Do you think there's any way that they skip having her do the Florida circuit and just have her on TV immediately before doing that?
I see what you say because you want to save
it.
that
That's what I'm
for
saying.
TV.
Yeah,
when
I
everyone
don't
goes
think she'll
like,
do any
whoa.
loops. I don't think
you
she
don't think she'll do the NXT loops?
Because the issue is you don't want her footage of her wrestling getting out. You
Right,
want to control that.
Right.
I know what you're saying. She needs the experience.
Yeah.
She needs the experience, but unless you give her a moniker, and it still wouldn't matter. People will look at her like, ain't that The Rock's daughter? Like you kind of.
No, see, I think you can give her a different moniker to get her to like just young
Just to
boy
throw-
status,
just to
like
throw her out.
just to throw her out there. I think they're gonna have to do that.
Okay, well, if you do it that way, you give her a moniker because she can technically wrestle under Simone Johnson.
Be Simone Maivia and
Or
it'd be
either
fine.
or. Nobody would be mad at either way, but you have to give her some type of BS moniker that you throw away out of a name generator. Let her, if you're gonna do that, like a Wu-Tang name generator.
Was a Childish Gambino over here?
Yep. Throw her in the loop. This way she can just have regular matches to get that ring, work together in front of crowds. Then yeah, you do that until you're ready to make this NXT debut.
Because I think that we being the hardcore fans, we would see that, but I think the general fan base
That's
is
what
not
it is in the
seeking out
loops.
footage from the coconut loops or whatever.
But there's going to be people that go to those shows that are going to film her for those reasons.
It's such. I mean, like,
And then it's
we
gonna get
say
out
this,
immediately.
Yes, but I just don't think the majority audience
listen,
is
Ryan.
actually
Listen,
seeking
I'm gonna
out
say
footage
this.
of these.
Listen, Ryan, I'm gonna say this
where
from the bottom
they
of my
care
heart.
that much.
I'm gonna say this from the bottom of my heart. I understand that you want Pro Wrestling Sheet to have the exclusive footage for when she does. Because that's what it sounds like. I don't care about all them. I need to put this on the YouTube channel.
I just can't think of a lot of talent that they've had at the Performance Center that they don't
Right.
put on the loops.
It's very rare. I would imagine. I mean, for their first
Lars
appearance,
was one of them for a long time.
Right.
But even he was,
Lars
I think,
needed to be on the loop, though.
But I think Lars was on the loop
He
still when he
needed
was
to.
Dylan Miley.
He needed to, though. You know what I'm saying? You have to have certain people that remember just
I
because
think
you
that was his name
train.
before Dylan Miley when he
Yeah.
had his whole
When you train, some of these are just new talents, and so you have to get them used to the system. Some people come in and it's just like they catch it. Some people are Bianca Belair. Where it's like you can put her on a loop, but at the same time you can go there and put her on TV.
put her under a hood, put her under a mask.
Put her under a mask. Or
That's
something.
a better idea.
Yeah,
Put her
okay,
in a
just
mask.
put her under
Do that.
mask. Just let her wrestle as a mask. Nobody would know. She would know. The people backstage would know. But let her wrestle under mask. Let her work around because this way she grows in her skills. So when she finally debuts on NXT TV, everybody's like, "Holy shit! What happened? How did she get to be this way?" But you don't know she's been working out.
See, I also don't think you debut her in NXT. Like, I think you could have her do the whole Performance Center stuff for a long time without it. You can't debut The Rock's daughter in NXT.
You're talking about you want to throw
and I
her
know Charlotte
straight.
Flair did it, so whatever.
Yeah,
but
you want to throw her straight on the main roster.
throw her out. There's The Rock's daughter, dude.
I mean, I get what you're saying.
I get that.
1,000%. I mean, we kind of got that with Dominic, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's a similar situation.
Yeah, but has Dominic had a match?
No. But he did a couple moves.
I mean,
so-
he did a couple moves and got some TV time, but now they had Brock lay his ass out. They was like, "You going back down there?
you go back there.
Going back to Orlando?"
I mean, it really does depend on how quickly she picks up.
You
to
and
it, too.
Simone
I mean, if she-
spar with each other.
y'all go ahead and work out spots.
Because I just think that you don't want to waste. I shouldn't say waste, but I mean, The Rock's daughter wrestling is the first fourth generation. So she's going to get a huge push.
Why wouldn't you put her on NXT? Just from saying that. Remember, that's the whole reason
The new
Charlotte.
generation.
No, and also the Charlotte Flair Rhea Ripley situation. You're building up NXT.
No, but this is 5 years from now.
You say 5 years.
I say 3 years.
You say because I'm
saying 2 years.
I'm saying 2
Fair,
years.
fair.
I'll say
Fine.
2 years.
I was even thinking that first 1 year.
No way. She's
If she's
so
been
young.
trained, no. If she's been training for 2 years straight, and again, I love Sarah
She hasn't
Amato.
been training 2 years straight.
Well, she's been
She's
training.
been
2
training
years.
off and on.
Okay, for 2 years. But then you got Sarah Del Rey, who's been making stars, women who would never get in the ring. Again, Sarah Del Rey is the reason we have a Charlotte Flair.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? She's the reason we have a Bianca Belair and some others. But imagine what she can do with that. Somebody who's, it's in their blood. She's been on and off. And now you put her in straight for a year or 2 years in the PC. You go ahead and run with that. You're building up NXT. I know what you're saying about, yes, Raw and SmackDown are the shows. It's 15,000 people.
It's just you don't have that. You don't have a fourth generation superstar very often. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you have to treat that with.
I get it. It's
Like with Ashley. Sorry, with Charlotte.
yeah.
Excuse me, with Charlotte Flair. Like I think the difference was that she never wanted to be a wrestler. And so it was like, let's see what she's got. She's taking on her brother's dream. I feel like with Simone has been wanting to be a wrestler since she
but
was
also,
10 years
do
old.
you realize how the reception would be? You're gonna get the most mixed reception ever from that. If you
You're
throw
gonna
her,
get Die Simone, die again.
if you yes,
I'm
exactly.
kind of okay with that.
Yeah,
You
like
are.
I'm okay with that.
Because
Yeah.
if you throw her on one of the two main shows, you're gonna either a bunch of people are gonna boo the hell out of her because they're gonna be like, "Look at this, she getting pushed just because of who her daddy is." Blah 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 blah. But then
Cream
you're gonna-
rises to the top, baby.
This is absolutely true, and in some cases it doesn't. We've seen this happen with that
Hey,
company.
yeah.
We see that a lot.
Sorry, Curtis.
Oh.
Oh,
I mean, hey, man.
Hey,
I wish it was better.
we all do. We all do. B team, go, away.
Poor guys.
I like it.
Poor guys. Bo Dallas going to be so much better in the Firefly Funhouse. But again, you'll have those who want to see her too. But like I said, it's split. It's just, how do you run this risk? How does she handle that? That's another thing, because if you put her on the main show, she runs the risk of getting booed. And because some people aren't ready for that,
Boo the Rock's daughter.
you have assholes out here.
God, wrestling fans suck.
Hey, man, when Brock came to try to give some shine to Roman after the Rumble, the Rock got booed.
Yeah,
off
but
that.
that was different. That was because they were already mad at Roman. They were already mad at Roman.
You know how bad it is when the production truck got to drop out the crowd sound? Let's not hear this right
See,
now.
I feel like it'll be different. I feel like it'll be like with The Rock to Rocky Johnson, it was what? I guess it has been decades. But The Rock is still fresh in the minds of
Look,
wrestling fans.
have it happen
I feel like that's like they're gonna take it to like this.
Okay, have it happen at 37 somehow, some way when she makes an introduction in the ring?
Sure. Although no, it's a little early
yeah.
for that. But
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a while still.
You
I think it's gonna be a while.
So you think at a Royal Rumble would probably be best?
I think it's gonna be a while still. I said 5 years, but too many years. I want to say it'd be at least
Two to 3 years. Which, by the way time goes anyway, when we look at calendars, it'll fly by.
Unless she's just been blowing everyone of the way at the Performance Center and we don't know that we haven't heard about or something like that. But and also I feel like Simone Johnson. I feel like however she ends up progressing will be the biggest testament to the Performance Center too, because she is definitely the youngest person who started to train at the Performance Center. No one started training at the Performance Center like 16, 17 years old. She, even though she's part of that lineage, this is where she learned to wrestle. Like, this place taught her to wrestle.
I mean,
I'm
what
very
happens
interested.
what happens if Triple H's daughter start doing it? Like, then that's when it gets real.
I tweeted this week and I said, like, I'm ready for when Simone turns on The Rock and becomes Triple H's corporate champion one day.
Dear God.
And then she says, he let me train in secret because he saw my potential.
You didn't want me to do this.
You were just hanging out with Kevin Hart and doing Fast and the Furious movies. You
were making millions over millions of dollars, but he
meanwhile,
wanted me
I had passion for our family business, and he was molding it.
You did Rampage.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
You did Rampage.
Look, guys, I liked Rampage. I enjoyed that movie.
And then when I tweeted that, someone else was like, "Yeah," and then Triple H's daughter shows up like the Stone Cold of the situation, where she's just the anti-authority one. And I was like, "Oh my God, I love it." If she was older, that'd be perfect, But yeah, I'm stoked to see where that progresses. I'm also excited about WrestleMania coming back to LA. WrestleMania
I mean, we
37.
all knew it was we knew it's a brand new stadium being built in Los
We're just
Angeles.
wondering if there's gonna be a Super Bowl before it happened, just so they could.
Yeah, that was the thing.
I got to tour the place this week. I got to go to SoFi or whatever. Man, that place is huge, dude.
Is it like Levi's Stadium, kind of?
Which one was Levi's Stadium?
When we went to WrestleMania.
I think it's bigger, dude.
Wow.
Well, because SoFi I think is bigger square footage wise because they want to do way more.
Dude, like when you walked in, it was like it felt like Roman times. Like the way it's set up, like was just so much stacked on top of each other, just to all see in on it. Like it was crazy looking. Like it looked so cool inside there.
Is there a roof to that?
So that's the other crazy part that I didn't know until I went there.
There is a roof.
It's not a dome. It's a translucent roof. Okay. So it's see-through roof, right?
Oh.
But the way it's built
like
is so that basically it's like a giant see-through LED screen so that they can project things on the ceiling.
What?
Yeah.
So they can project nighttime?
Yeah. They can project whatever they want.
So the Undertaker can get a real entrance?
Yeah. So if it's daytime and Undertaker needs to come out and it has gotten dark yet, they can make it dark in there.
That's crazy.
Stephanie said, and I didn't. Stephanie said while doing the scrum, I want to say, I'm almost positive it was Stephanie who said this, and I was like, "Whoa!" She said because in the graphics they show online, it just says SoFi on the roof.
Yeah.
But she says that they can add whatever branding they like. That's the SoFi that it shows in the pictures. That's just what it's projecting.
Yeah.
And that they can project whatever image they want on top.
Oh,
too.
so you already know what these WrestleMania entrances are going to look like with something projected off the top.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So she said that in theory, if you're in a plane and you're flying over SoFi, they can project whatever they want. So they can be showing you whatever they want. So they can have a giant WWE logo. It can be the show that's airing so that people in the plane would see it. Yeah.
As you're landing at
As
LA.
you're landing, you're seeing something crazy go down.
I'm missing that.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's crazy.
I'm losing all this weight and getting in shape just so I'm trying to be a extra for WrestleMania in that building. I'm 37. I know people listening to this and listen to Ryan because Ryan is now somebody important. He's always been that way, but he's elevated. So
yeah, that's always been important.
How done does it look?
You know what? It's pretty done. It's like the structure is all done. It appears like they're still doing things. It seems more like the outside they're still working on, like putting all the like stuff, like the trees and plants and all that kind of stuff. Oh,
the atmosphere around.
The atmosphere around.
Oh, so they're already at that point.
But the inside, I mean, no, there's still work to be done on the inside.
Sure.
Like there's no glass panels and stuff. Like all the the suites and stuff like that still need panels added to it.
But there's suites.
They're there. Yeah, you can see they're there. You can see what it looks like.
Oh, that's great.
They said that it's 85% done.
Is the field down there?
No, the field wasn't down there yet.
Okay.
Just what would be the field.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, since like there was all this construction going on. Like when we went to the press conference, we had to wear full hard hat.
Yeah, I see
pictures. Stuff. Which the yellow thing was a bit silly. Like I don't know why I needed to wear the yellow vest on top of it.
It's reflective. Oh well, yeah.
We weren't in an actual. Like nothing was moving near us, and also the talent didn't have to wear it. They're way more important than the rest of us.
That's true.
Like
That's very true.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, who would?
I mean, he just said that you're important, but you're not that.
You're not that.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Who would you rather lose, Roman Reigns or Ryan Satin?
Yeah, exactly. The helmet on Roman Reigns.
There's gonna be a lot of comments.
This is Ryan Satin.
They're like Ryan Satin, of course.
But yeah, but it's also funny because I was thinking, okay, well, this is a construction site, so the power and stuff's probably not working, like the water's probably not working, so I'm gonna go pee before I get there. And so I went pee before I got there, but then I downed a water, and then I went there, and I had to pee so bad, and I was just thinking like, God, I have to go so bad.
In the porta potty.
I'm gonna have to went to the porta potty. That's what I was thinking the whole time. Like, but we were in like this area,
sure,
so I was just sitting there like, all right, I'm just gonna wait for the porta potty, and so I had to wait for like an hour and a half, and I was like dying, and finally, all right, I'm gonna leave, and so I start to walk out, and they had to like escort us out so we knew which way to go, and I say to the lady like, is there a porta potty in the bathroom? She's like, oh no, the bathroom's just right there. And I was so mad at myself.
I could have been.
I was like, this whole time I held it. Like, what the hell, man?
That's torture.
It was.
My bladder is cussing me out right now.
It was. But yeah, one of the things I'm most interested in WrestleMania 37 coming to LA is, the last time it was here in 2005, it wasn't this like giant week-long event that has a million.
I'm so excited.
It wasn't like this, where there's 100,000 indie shows that happen at the same time.
Oh, this is gonna be bananas.
And on top of that, these people are all underestimating the traffic out here.
Oh my God, yeah.
These people are all gonna be late to every show.
Hey guys, There's a lot of traffic.
There's so much traffic, and just
you better hope that there is just like warehouses that they're renting out in different areas.
5 miles takes a long time at certain
Don't
times.
let anybody tell you that people in California, more specifically Los Angeles, are overreacting.
No. Let me tell you, it takes me like to get to this studio from my house about an hour, and that's like there's not that much traffic right now.
I'm trying to see how many miles away my home is. My home is 20 miles from here, and it takes me an hour. So.
Usually people say, hey, Kevin, you drive a lot. You go to shows a lot. You go to comedy shows. You're always in L.A. I'm like, it takes me like 35, 45 minutes. People from one side of L.A. to the other side, probably an hour and a half.
Yeah. Oh,
also,
easily.
Yeah, because relationships have ended because people don't want to go over the hill.
Like, you moved to the west side? Probably
I live in Van Nuys. I can't go.
Yeah, I'm a Valley guy, so I get that. Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm in Echo Park. You're moving to Culver City? Well,
it's been real.
There you go.
One of the other things I found interesting this week was Brandy Rhodes coming out and confirming that she is done with the Nightmare Collective. Nightmare Collective was not well received by fans. I think that's safe to say, right? And so she did an interview with Wrestling Observer Live on last week. Was it? No, it was this week.
I think it was
last
Tuesday.
Week. It was sometime this week. Yeah, it was this week.
Monday or Tuesday, yeah.
And, it was this week. And she basically went into a lot of detail about it. She said that the idea was originally supposed to be managing Awesome Kong, and that Kong wanted to change her look as well as her vibe by cutting off her opponent's hair. But then as things kind of started, it was kind of like different minds, all kind of like too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, and things kind of like started to like change basically. And now because of that, she basically decided to make her exit from the group. Basically, she wasn't feeling it, the fans weren't feeling it, and it seems like Luther is going to be doing his own solo thing now.
I have so much respect for Brandy. I interviewed her in this very studio before. For her to be as transparent like that, to say, listen, people weren't feeling it. You don't hear many people in that top position in companies openly say that. They'll just say, well, we had creative ideas that we decided to go in another direction. To be honest and understand what it is. That's one thing I respect about her, Cody, the Bucks, and even Kenny, with this transparency they're trying to show you with the business.
And I mean, this is what they stated from the beginning, is that we're going to listen to the fans. And I feel like this is one of the biggest times where they've outwardly said, like, yes, we're listening to the fans, and we're getting
like you guys said, you don't like this.
Yeah,
all right, we're gonna
yeah.
Because I mean, I understand what she was trying to go for, and again, we all saw it developing. But then when you did the Luther thing and everything else, it started getting real convoluted. And like she just said, too many, like you said, Ryan, excuse me, too many.
She said it.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah,
too many cooks. Like I understand you have a creative team. But every time somebody's like, all right, let's add this part to it. Let's add this little element to it.
Right.
Okay, what about this? All right, y'all realize you've gotten completely away from the base.
Yeah, and she said that basically there wasn't a time to explain what they were even trying to go for, so just everyone was just confused. It was just a big confusing thing.
I was even more confused, like even just like the exiting of the collective, where Kong was that her departure from the group was on Dark.
I was waiting for you guys to finish your guys' point.
Blew my mind.
That was my other question. I was going to say, agreed. Transparency, I like it. Completely agree. The only thing I was thinking is like, I did think it was a little odd to not end it on the show in which people were unhappy with it by. Like,
right.
And I guess that's...
It's that way of getting rid of it without taking up space in a sense. Again.
I guess, but you would think you'd want to show the
No. I get
that
exactly.
you're listening, because like let's say for example like the Spirit Squad. I like the Spirit Squad, but I feel like people didn't like the Spirit Squad.
Hey, man.
Shipped away.
And so it was like,
when they
we're
got shipped
shipping them away.
No, they shipped them to OVW in a crate.
We're shipping them away in a crate to let you guys know we heard you. We're fucking done with the Spirit Squad. You know, like we get it. Sorry.
So funny.
And as silly as that may be, it at least lets the fans know, like, okay, cool, we got what we wanted, right? I do think that just pretending like it didn't ever occur is weird.
But again, we talked about this before last time I was on here. With AEW, they have it where you have to go to all these different elements to get the full story.
And I think that's a bad part about it.
Yeah, I said you got to go to AEW Dark. You got to go to Being the Elite, you know what I'm saying, as well as AEW Dynamite. It's too many different elements to try to keep up with one story.
Right.
It's like, I get it. I know you want to drive. You understand that traffic comes from all these different things, but you got to have something that's just centralized.
At least like a recap on something that shows something on the main show.
Well, I think I'm guessing in their minds, Brandy running out during the lashing
Sure, I get it, but
but that didn't explain anything.
It didn't.
To me, I was watching like, wait, why is she not why is she not a cult leader anymore? What happened?
I was like waiting to be like, is she gonna do something to heal him with her magic powers?
And then I go like, well, so wait, are we to believe that this is real? Was the point like this is real?
Right.
Yeah.
But then is everything else on the show fake that she was doing? Like that to me, it's like this weird line to a certain degree. But I do agree. I think it was 100% the right call to drop it. And I do like that they kind of like she's pretty honest about it.
It was like, yo, y'all didn't like it. We weren't liking where we're going. We just said it's done.
In our group text, I do like that Jamie was like, somebody shaved their head for this, and now they're just like, now I got a shaved head. Right?
You hear about that? There's one person who talks about that who like says like in WWE they were like, you got to shave your head, and then he did, and they were like, where'd your long hair go? And he was like, what? I want to say it was Lance Archer, like when he had that short hair for a second when he was Lance Hoyt.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
You know, y'all just told me like 72 hours ago to just cut my hair.
Yeah, I want to say it was one of
I have the text message that somebody said. It's right. No, so I'm not. Okay.
Good to know. All right, let's move on to Raw. I want to talk about a couple things. First, obviously, we got to talk about Shayna Baszler chomping on Becky's neck.
Okay. I saw. I've been trying to put this clip on Twitter. The moment I saw that, it was like, whoa. And then Becky's response, did that bitch bite me? Did she bite me? All I kept thinking about was that episode of Martin when they went to Chilligan's Island. The first time he fought that puppy, was like that mouse puppy thing. And he fought him out the door. And then Martin was like, did he bite me? Did he bite me? Do I got rabies? Do I need a rabies shot? That was the only thing I could think about for over an hour. I was crying laughing. I was like, wait, this is what we doing with Shayna Baszler? Taking chunks out of the back of necks? Like, how did they hold that blood pack in there that low?
I was wondering that too. As corny as it like was with the blood pack, I was like, where was it? Like, did she have it in her? She had to have had it in the mouth guard, right?
It had to
be in the guard.
Okay,
it's the only way I could think of.
Because I was like, if Becky takes a bump, like,
because she couldn't have had it like taped to her neck,
right?
So you think she had it in the mouth guard, and that's why she pulled them out, like did the whole pulling out the mouth guard thing? That was like her.
I think so.
Secret was,
or she probably had them in her jaw. She probably had a couple pills in her jaw.
Maybe that too.
Yeah, and then she just takes they're in her jaws already. You don't see her. She never really opens up her mouth fully. She just, but you see the mouth guard.
True.
Takes the mouth guard out. Bop. When she goes, soon as she goes down on the neck, pop him.
True.
I was in the house for that, and I was just like, what is happening right now? I was like, yeah, Shayna, I'm throwing up my spade, but I was like, what is happening right now? Is she a cannibal now?
So let's go. We'll start with you. Thumbs up or thumbs down on it?
That thumbs down. Thumbs up. Okay, if they don't go further with it.
So like. No. If they don't make Shayna's gimmick a vampire, thumbs up.
Then they're
like a one up, one down,
like an Orange Cassidy thumbs up, like
a freshly squeezed thumbs up.
Anything that can make me cry, because I'm about to start crying again, laughing, because I just couldn't believe they did this. Like, this is how you end it. I understand you want to set this up because you have to set up something for the women because Super Showdown's coming up and they're not going to wrestle again. So I get it, but I was like, wait, please, God, don't do this extra layer of goth.
So, for you, thumbs up, thumbs down? Similar, a freshly squeezed thumbs up?
Yeah, but freshly...
See, yeah, okay. Because, I did make fun of the Britt Baker.
Here comes some shit.
No, I did make fun of the Britt Baker Yuka Sakazaki thing for looking a little, like, corny, because it was clear that it was the blood capsules. So, yes, it 100% looked corny to me when I watched it. I think the only thing I liked about it was that Britt Baker and Yuka Sakazaki to me did not accomplish this. This got people to talking at least.
Sure.
People were like, what the fuck just happened?
It's a meme.
You know?
Yes, it's a meme immediately.
Like with Britt Baker, it was like, oh, that's silly. She didn't knock her tooth out. You know? Like, and then they moved on from it. To me, and maybe it was because it was against Becky Lynch of all people, like the star caliber of the two people made more people want to talk about it. But I did go like, okay, that looks really cheesy. But then at the same time, Like, I laughed my ass off at it.
That's the thing.
I can't be mad. I can't. I'm not gonna say it was like. I'm not complaining about it because at the end of the day, like wrestling can be cheesy, and I get it. You know,
course,
like,
yeah.
like, and the Yuka Sakazaki thing. Like, at least, I think the match beforehand is what threw me off because I really felt like they didn't click at all. Like I wasn't feeling it. So I think at least like, with Becky and Asuka, they had this like dope match beforehand, and then you were like, "What's Shayna doing? Cool, Shayna's now finally
Incredible
been
match.
waiting for this." And then you're like, "Wait, what the? Why is she?"
What if
Bit
she
her
said?
neck? What the fuck?
What if Shayna says Ronda told me to take a bite out your ass? Like,
I like it.
Yeah.
if that be the case, if she can explain it with something like that, like I'm taking a bite out of you, it's got to be something on this next promo, on this next Raw.
Agreed. I really do think that it's made or broken on however Shayna explains
Absolutely.
it.
Yes.
Because like Shayna tweeted because during the press conference for WrestleMania.
She's got a thirst for blood.
Well, during the press conference for WrestleMania 37 out here in LA, Becky was wearing a neck band.
I know, and I heard you ask the question. Was like,
Yeah,
She
and
gave you a little sass.
yeah,
I know.
Call me Becky the Vampire Slayer. I was like, what?
I was like, you're selling it. Sell it. Sell
that's
it.
what I thought. I don't think this is a bad thing to ask. I think she was just kidding.
No, I know for sure, but it was just like she gave me like a little weird look. And
I
she
think
was,
it's 'cause
oh,
she-
next question.
I think it was because she had just walked from the other scrum and talked to them about it too.
So
That she was like already over it, I think.
Yeah.
but it's like,
But that's like what you came here to sell.
you came here to sell it, like,
I mean, John Moxley's walking around every
eye
day
patch,
with
yeah.
an eye patch.
like
Yeah.
legit real life down the street.
It was funny too because I finally watched Minoru Suzuki versus Moxley, and there's a point when the eye patch like just comes up and his eye looks totally normal and fine.
Oh, really? He didn't have the other bandage?
I almost screen grabbed it, but I didn't want to be a dick. But like, there was one point because I happened to pause it for a second because like the phone rang and I paused it and I was like, oh wait, oops! Like, and it was like you could see the other part underneath came up, and his eye just looked totally normal and
Hey,
fine.
you know what? I mean, it's been over a month. I'm sure there's a lot of healing going on. It's bound to look better now, Ryan.
There should be the real coloration, you know, saying
yeah,
the discoloration
things
is
are
gone.
coming back around.
That's why I
He's
was
just
like-
being cautious
I was
right
like,
now.
I'm not gonna be that guy.
You don't want to
I'm
get
not gonna
dirt.
be
You
that
can't
guy.
get dirt in
It's
that
a
eye.
work. It's a
You can't
I
get
mean,
dirt
the
in that
doctors are telling them, hey, still keep it covered. It's for the best. Look at your elbow. We need to keep it covered. That's fine.
eye. Look at you. You got past the staff.
He's still wearing that
Get
bandage. He
past
still
this.
has that bandage on.
Being safe.
Yeah, he's being
Look,
safe.
I don't blame him.
Exactly.
All the sweat that people I would wear a bandage too much.
But for those who didn't see the video, I asked her about it, and yeah, like they said, that she was like, "Oh, just call me Becky the Vampire Slayer," and Shayna quote tweeted it and said, "LOL, okay, Buffy, but living in make believe won't stop reality." I want to get a better explanation than that. I hope they're not. I hope they're not just gonna like breeze past it. It would be nice to explain why Shayna suddenly wanted to bite someone.
I was like, you trying to paralyze it? That's a vertebrae you going at. It's a vertebrae.
She's just like, Shayna's be like, it's part of my new collective of nightmares.
No,
No, we got away from it. No. You got spooky characters on this show too?
during the conference call too, I thought it was interesting that Triple H did with the media for Takeover Portland this weekend. I asked if Shayna is now Raw talent, and he said that he looks at it as like sports, and that like in his eyes that she's still NXT talent unless they make some sort of trade or deal for her. So I'm wondering if they're gonna do some weird thing where she gets traded for someone from Raw.
I mean, there's a bunch of people you can just send down there like Sarah. Yeah, we're giving you Sarah Logan.
That was honestly, that was what a lot of the people replied. I asked them like, who would you guys want? Who do you think would be a good trade for a lot of Sarah Logan?
But if we're looking
let
at
Sarah
like
Logan
sports,
go back to NXT.
if we're looking at it like sports,
It's got to be equal.
you got to be equal of
Yeah.
So it's got to
talent.
be a couple people.
Yeah, it's a
people for
couple.
one person.
Yeah, but that's like, okay, so Lana, Liv Morgan, Sarah.
No, not Lana. Lana's too embroiled
With the
everything.
Bobby Lashley thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so Liv Morgan.
Maybe like Dana Brooke.
Dana's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Dana's
you're
on
right.
SmackDown.
You're right.
So it's like, yeah, I get if they're gonna do the trade thing.
You got to have a couple people that go down. But
look-
now you have Liv with Ruby, who's they got a feud going on now. On
Yeah,
Raw.
that's true. Ugh, it's kind of.
I mean, maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be another woman's talent. It could be just.
Oh,
a
yeah,
men's
it could be.
talent.
I was thinking if they are going to go the trade route, it's going to have to be with some guys.
All right,
get
this is what
Bo
you do.
down there
This is
again.
what you do. This is what you do. Okay, B team is on SmackDown or Raw.
I think they're Raw.
They're SmackDown. I
Are
think.
they
Smack.
SmackDown?
Okay, so cool. So what you do is I don't give a shit what program.
Three-way
they're in.
trade. Three-way
I don't give a
trade.
shit what program what show they're on right now. You send the AOP back down to NXT for Shayna Baszler.
No way, they're in the middle.
I don't give a shit. I just said this.
This is what I'm saying.
It's
What I would have liked to have seen, but they can't because he's on SmackDown, is Shayna Baszler for Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
But he's on
nice
SmackDown.
But he has a manager license now, so he could go cross brands. So does that technically mean that he could get traded?
To be honest with you, I wanted, in my mind, it was both of them. It was and let's Shinsuke stay on SmackDown.
Cesaro and
send old Caesar and Sammy
Yeah.
back to SmackDown because I feel like Sammy has to be the most wasted talent in WWE right now.
Is he injured?
Not from what I've heard.
Because that was the only thing I can think of. Like, I'm like, okay, I understand when
If
it
he
first
was injured,
started.
if he was injured, they wouldn't want to have him ringside.
That's true.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
From what I've heard, this is just what they want him to do right now.
You gotta love creative decisions. Again, being somebody in the business, you
You mean
understand
Vince
how
decisions?
creative decision. I know.
Is Garza going to stay up once Andrade's back?
That was another question I
then
had.
the-
Honestly,
that
I was
has
going
to be
to
a
get to
trade
this. I was going to
situation.
get to this when we start discussing NXT, but like I was thinking the same thing. More confusing is that Garza's kind of like a face on NXT, kinda, isn't he?
Well, kind of, but not really.
He proposed to his girlfriend.
Yeah, but he was,
That
still
makes
he was a dick when he before,
when he
before
did it.
happened.
No, he was very nice when
Right
he did
before
it.
when he did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was a dick before he proposed.
And then afterwards, he's kind of a dick too, just because he's like, he's cocky.
Okay.
And so, like, I think the cocky makes you go, oh, he's a bad guy.
I will say it was a little. I thought it was funny because I saw someone point this out, and honestly, it passed me by how he proposed to his girlfriend, and now he's on Raw calling himself a ladies' man.
Right.
Yeah, I was like,
Hey, obviously he's a ladies' man. He was able to secure a proposal and a fiance. That's the ultimate type of ladies' man there is. You're able to have somebody that wants to marry you. Yeah, there you go, guys.
Let's do Shayna Baszler for EC3.
that's
you still have to put more people.
You just said you said
So it's Sarah Logan, EC3, and somebody Eric Young.
No, this is what you do. Everybody that runs in the train for the damn 24/7 title.
So the whole train of
The
people.
whole-
So they have the train of them running, and then they like do like a cartoon, and they go through like the backstage, and they all go into the back of a truck, and then somebody like
the NXT.
Hunter just like
It's the
closes the door and then starts driving off.
We got him back. Yes. Success.
I mean, if you say equal value, you get rid of all of them that run on that damn train.
I love the idea of Kenyon Seaman of like he tells them catering is that way, you know, and they're also that door's catering, yeah, and then right when they go through, just shuts the truck door, picks up the phone. We got him, Hunter. We got him back. We're good.
You got how many?
They've been secured.
We've got 8.
All right, send
We got
Shayna.
Cedric Alexander. We got Tozawa. We got them all back.
Everybody, you just was like, hey, what else are we gonna do with him? We even got no way else sway back, okay? And the conga line is at the end of him, just sitting there running with us.
He just. That guy's tall. He's got some size on him. All right, you guys can get in the truck
I think we could just sign Eric Watts. Let's get him in there.
My boy,
I love watching like being at like a live or like, anything
the
like
best.
live, and you're like locally because you're like,
Yeah.
I know these local talent, and I'm like, oh, Watts is about there doing his conga line right now.
I want to
So
do the
good.
conga line. I want to do that with them. I was trying to figure out who do I talk to. Like I'll do.
Ask Watts. He knows.
Let me tell you something. If Adam Rose was still around, damn it, I'd have been the bunny. It was fucking.
Yeah.
I'd have fucking been. They'd be like, yo, that bunny is thick. Like
You guys got a little ahead of me, but this is also. But this actually is perfect segue into another thing I kind of wanted to
Adam
bring up
Rose?
here. No, it was actually the 24/7 types. We saw squash matches against Cedric Alexander, Tozawa, and to a certain degree Mojo Rawley. What do you think that it's a waste of talent to have guys like that being squashed to a certain degree to technically make them like enhancement talent?
I think when it comes to Cedric Alexander, absolutely. Because that was a dude that you were high on. You were doing these vignettes about him.
And now he's losing in a minute.
Yeah. I don't.
Tozawa, they is a talented guy
No,
too.
but they
Oh, yeah,
weren't. But
absolutely.
no, I'm not
He
taking away from.
wasn't. He wasn't in the ring
He
as
wasn't
AJ
getting
Styles.
pushed.
He wasn't
Yeah.
getting pushed like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's weird. It's very weird because even on SmackDown, when we get to it, you got Apollo Crews now at that same situation. So it's like, what do you?
Well, Mojo lost to Drew McIntyre in a minute
Well, listen, it's
or 3 seconds or whatever.
Pardon the expression. It's Mojo fucking Rawley.
Yeah,
okay?
but at the same time, they were featuring him a
Yeah,
bunch.
featuring him a
Yeah,
lot.
this is true. Again, but at the same time, let's look at this. Drew McIntyre, who is on his way to WrestleMania, is on this
Yeah, but then
monster.
he lost to Street Profits this week in like 2 seconds
This is-
again, and then had Riddick Moss pin him, who hasn't even had a promo yet. So like,
I don't even know if he knows how to talk. According
yeah.
to
So I was like, man, like, is this like what is?
I was confused because like it's that time of year where you get the mojo push because you're like
Then
maybe
he might-
maybe
then
we
might-
gotta get
Gronk
Gronk at
back, yeah.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So you get the mojo push in around this time of year.
So you think they
And
finally got the word he's not coming
Exactly,
in?
that's what I'm thinking.
So it's like
1,000%. 1,000%. Gronk is not coming in. So they're like, we're done with the experiment. Let's break them up.
Guess he doesn't need a lineman
It's
after
been
all.
2 weeks. Let's get
They were
him.
doing the run sheet for Raw, and somebody texted him was like, "This is Gronk's agent. He will not be able to do it." All right, I need to make some changes.
So Mojo's against Street Profits.
I am one of the people who actually, I really do. I think Mojo is super entertaining, and I actually liked his whole hype gimmick thing back in the day. But it does feel like they only like the rabbit or the carrot being held in front of
Yeah.
them is 100% like. If you get Gronk to come
get Gronk
in,
to
like
come
if you
in,
get Gronk to do a thing,
We promise we'll tell the security not to bother him this
Now
time.
you know how people been featured and endeavored a lot, right?
yeah.
If you can tell your friend to come on, man.
If he wants to get hyped,
You ever heard one of those
here-
like ironclad, the unfireable types? Like the ones people say like they can't get fired. Just saying.
Listen, they had a clock for JTG. How the company, the website.
Do you think? Okay, my question back to the drop.
Hunter likes to party with you. It's chill.
The enhancement status of things. Do you think that it's better to use established talent to help get someone over, like these people that we're referring to, like Drew McIntyre's
I think
the people who
tossing-
beat this, or enhancement talent like jobbers.
I
Like
think
local talent.
mixing it up is fine. I think mixing it up because hey, so this guy's gonna have his he's be on fire. He's gonna have a streak. Let's make it a little more realistic. If a guy's having a streak, let's have him defeat these like other guys that are also established on the show quickly. Why not? Because he's hyped and he's ready for his Mania match.
I think it really depends to me on who.
Well, like for instance,
definitely
with the
depends.
Viking Raiders, for months, all we got them were just squashing jobbers to the point where we get it. We get it. Giving them a match. And it has to happen. You have to have developed talent to make it count.
Yeah.
Because if you're just doing jobbers, everybody like, okay, we get it. You can beat nobodies.
Right.
You can beat nobodies. Can you beat somebody that is a superstar? So Drew McIntyre, granted, he's going to whoop 95% of people anyway.
Of course.
But Mojo Rawley was considered a champion at the time. No matter how we feel about that title, he was still considered a champion because he had it for a minute. Remember, before the loss to Riddick Moss, they would make sure that the 24/7 stipulation is off. So you have him beat somebody. Drew McIntyre has to do it because he has to run through people, of course. But you have to have those situations, unfortunately. And with those situations, somebody has to be that pariah. Somebody has to be the person that's being fed to people.
Yep. Yeah. No. I mean, that makes sense. That certainly makes sense.
But there are guys like Cedric Alexander where it definitely seems like a big waste.
Yeah. And Cedric Alexander isn't even being quiet about it.
No, he feels like it's being a big waste.
Yeah. You could tell because he tweeted last night saying frustrated is an understatement, and then pinned it. So
No, he pinned it. Wow.
Yeah.
When you pin it,
Yeah, it's bad when you pin it. Like,
Because you're like, I'll take on the likes from the bots too. I don't care.
give it to
I
me.
want everybody. Anybody that was looking up the word frustration, it's right here.
Okay, so speaking of frustration, we had another big thing that happened big in my opinion to a certain degree, and that was everything that happened with Matt Hardy and Randy Orton this week. You had Randy Orton come out to talk about Edge, and then he gets interrupted by Matt Hardy, and myself and probably every wrestling fan watching was like, wait, what?
Right.
Of all people to defend Edge, it's Matt Hardy. But then, you know what?
Yeah, the way
they
he
turned
explained it was great.
Like, honestly, I was sitting there my Twitter fingers were hot. I picked up my phone and I was like, Matt Hardy defending Edge's honor? Like, what? And then before I could hit send, it was like, I was sort of like, oh, this is good. All right, this makes sense. What you're saying here. Like, all right. Like, I deleted the tweet. Like, I put it in drafts. Like, all right, cool. Wait a second, And then
Save this for later.
Save it for a second,
Just in case.
And then, and honestly, I felt like not only did he make it make sense why he was there, but really did a really good job of encompassing his career in WWE and getting to have a good exit. You know, like
I loved it.
I thought, you know, like from what I've been told, the intention was to write him off. Like that was the plan here. This wasn't a last minute. No, that I you know, his contract expires in March
1st. Yeah.
So I mean, that's a couple weeks away.
I just was the only thing that I wanted out of that more was for Randy Orton to punt kick him.
Me too. It's the only thing
I was like, let him be. Let's refer him to. He's like, you've had a legendary career, Matt, and then just punt kick.
Yeah, because I'm a legend killer.
Yeah. So
two things: either they're saving the punt kick for a big moment.
Oh, that's WrestleMania. Oh, that's a WrestleMania moment.
You think?
That's WrestleMania versus because it's not him and Edge at Super Showdown, is it?
No.
Right. So it's him and Edge at Mania.
But you think he's gonna punt kick? He has to win if he hits the punt. If he hits the punt kick, he's gotta win. I don't think he's beating Edge.
I'm saying like if he punt kicks Beth, which is
that's what I was thinking.
Oh my
God.
Or
like Christian.
Yeah, I'd rather see Christian
for sure, absolutely. But like,
Christian's not cleared though. I don't.
Yeah,
think.
So like,
you punt kick Beth Phoenix.
On NXT, if he shows up in NXT and punt kicks Beth Phoenix,
let me tell you something. If you want Randy Orton already had nuclear heat from the segment with Ed. He caught the nuclear heat.
Yeah.
If you want this shit to go worldwide extinction level event heat, let him go on NXT.
I want that because like it. I will say, like, his run in the past year, I've actually been more interested in Randy Orton.
I agree. Yeah,
and for a real long time.
Yeah.
And he's a great worker, and without a doubt. He always has really great moments. The Seth Rollins thing at Mania, but he's been really interesting this year.
Yeah.
And I think that this heel turn, going back to like a full blown heel, was amazing.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I feel like he wants to come to work if he could be just like a fucking like piece of shit.
Yeah, totally.
Let me be a piece of shit.
Well, there's this thing. A lot of people have said. You guys might have heard it too. That when Randy Orton wants to play, he will play.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
And this is where he wants to play. He is having fun again.
Well, Randy Orton always comes alive during WrestleMania season. Like when the road to WrestleMania is approaching, he because it's. I mean, there's always going to be something at WrestleMania for Randy Orton until he retires. So like, you know, you could see he gets like re-energized. He goes on a little vacation before, like you know,
he's staying
hangs
on
out
an island
with the wife.
for a little bit.
He goes to an island with his wife, has all these fancy dinners, gets all pumped again.
Giving him an RKO.
Yeah, you know, and then he comes in and he's just like 100% ready to go. And the fact that he is even more motivated than normal this year because he gets to work with Edge.
He's pumped.
He's like, you can see that
I'm with my friend. Like, we get to do like some crazy thing. Like,
I've heard they're trying. From what I had heard, I have not confirmed this with a ton of sources, but I heard they're pushing for some sort of hardcore match too.
It's got to be a chairs match,
or like a last man standing, or something like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know if they're going to do it, but I've heard there's been they've pushed for it.
Well, this way you can save both of them.
Exactly.
This way, no matter how whoever wins, nobody takes a pin.
It's also Edge's first full match back, so you think you want to give him a little bells and whistles to kind of like
you want to ease him back in.
Although I don't know if like taking a bunch of chairs is easing back into it.
Hey man, can you imagine just being at the Performance Center like, all right, so today is hit Edge with chairs.
Taking them.
So listen, I understand
how much get out there, hit him with the chair.
Dominic, listen, I know you hung out at the house.
But you know, I thought this was great the way it was done with Matt Hardy. I felt like, you know, with his contract ending, I like that he kind of like got to be old Matt Hardy, remind everyone what he did, and then get to go out in a cool angle to help promote, help building towards WrestleMania or whatever.
Yeah, like when you see like an indie talent like leave a company to go like signing, they usually, or anybody, like they put someone over.
I also think
like it's a way of putting over a story.
I also think that, to me at least, at this point, it's pretty evident, unless they're trying to swerve us, that Matt Hardy is the exalted one in the Dark Order. So
it would be a huge swerve.
Yeah. So him losing
only
adds into that, in my opinion.
What happens if it is though?
If it's not Matt Hardy?
Yeah. What happens if it's
like
not
Christopher Daniels?
Right.
That's the other thing.
That's the only because honestly.
If it's Christopher Daniels,
and
it's going to be the biggest letdown. If it's not Matt Hardy at this point, it's going to be the biggest.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, like, dude, they now that it's all coming closer, you know, you
it
see
adds up.
that the Dark Order's whole thing has been to help people on a losing streak. Matt Hardy has been on a losing streak. In
So
WWE.
Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, but
You
you don't see them being exalted.
And then on top of that, you know, the first time they showed like the thing with the Exalted One, when the full video of it got released, it started with him going wonderful at the beginning of it, you know, and that was a, you know, unlisted YouTube video that they put out to try and like not be too obvious about it, you know, and I just, the more I look at it, even now, you know, after the show, Matt Hardy tweets goodbye, right?
Yeah.
And then
You
the
say
next
goodbye, I
morning,
say hello.
Evil Uno
Side-by-side,
tweets, you say goodbye, I say hello. Like, it's seeming, and on Dynamite this week, they were like, you know, this isn't the full Dark Order, more of a, there's another coming, like the Exalted One is coming soon.
But at the same time, I mean, Uno's been known to be a big Beatles fan, so
everyone knows.
Everyone knows. Uno loves
Yellow
the Beatles.
Submarine. We know
all about it.
You see what I'm saying? Like, they could be swerving us, and it could be Daniels. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things.
I think it's the opposite. I think they want you to think it's Daniels from everything they're doing.
Yeah, but
it's gonna be Hardy.
Yeah, okay.
Because
no, I'm with you, and I'm with you.
Because even when I tweet saying it's Matt Hardy, like, I don't know, it's gonna be Christopher Daniels. It looks pretty obvious. It's gonna be Christopher Daniels.
You know,
everything on TV. But then, like,
listen, what you just said. I tweeted out, and you let Twitter be. You just said I tweeted it out. You know, Twitter's like, well, you know, how do you know, right? Listen, this is what they're doing with Christopher Daniels. Listen, why he keeps going in the back every time.
Oh, I feel left out.
I feel like the other big clue is the fact that, like, on being the not being the elite, excuse me, on
how many different stuff
on Free the Delete that Matt Hardy puts out, you know, the whole story has been that his inner self, like the broken character or whatever, is being taken over by something called Abomination. And Abomination is very bad. And this Abomination is basically taking over the vessel of Matt Hardy, and that soon Broken Matt will be dead is basically what the whole story has been.
And he'll be exalted to the Dark Order.
And I mean, even on this week where the Abomination is slowly taking over now, he's walking with Vanguard 1, and then Vanguard 1 says to him, like, thanks for having trust in me, like, I'm here to help you. And he grabs Vanguard 1, and he's like, and it turns red, the screen or whatever, and he's shaking it. Why would I trust a stupid little trinket like you? And earlier in the episode, or the previous episode, when Vanguard 1 found Matt, he did like diagnostics tests on him, and it said Broken Matt, my leader, all that kind of stuff. This time, when he was shaking it and going like, why would I trust you? It was doing the diagnostics test, and it was saying unidentified person, and it was saying like, who is this? We don't know. So clearly he's teasing some sort of change in character too. So it seems to me like he's on the way to become the Exalted One.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. I just would love to see. I just would love it if certain things weren't so obvious.
I feel like this is only as obvious because I keep pointing it out though. Because and I'm sorry. Also in the Free to Lead thing, when he's saying that and it's saying like I couldn't recognize him, he's shaking it and he goes, I am exhausted. I am exhausted. And then like he cuts off and he's like, I'm exhausted, and then he like lays down. So like to me it's like pretty clear at this point. If not, he's been really fucking with everybody.
And going back to the fact that AEW loves using social media and other network ways to paint their stories. So
this is, I mean, I have no problem with it. I just want it to be a swerve. Just to see like if
it's Wardlow. It's been Wardlow this entire time.
It's Jim Cornette. That's the real swerve.
I'm leaving.
Do you
the first one they did of the Exalted One did have a tennis racket in the corner.
Could you imagine if it was?
It did.
Could you imagine if it was Cornette though?
Nuclear.
I would stop watching the show. Maybe.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
I like how he said he wanted to say I stopped watching the show, and then he said maybe I'll quietly. This motherfucker knows he wouldn't stop watching the show.
As a black man, I should have stopped watching when I said Jim Cornette. But I was like, I would see that just to watch. I just want to see the reaction. I would literally be sitting there like this. Well, Twitter's going off in 3.
Yeah, me too.
2.
Me too, 100%. I'd be like, well, let's get some popcorn.
Right.
Pull up the timeline.
If wrestling Twitter is not rough enough.
Wrestling Twitter would be, oh my God, what we like to call it, a nightmare. Man. Collective.
And lastly here on the Raw thing before, because we still have a bunch of stuff out to cover. We've been talking. You guys don't have anywhere to go, right?
Let's talk forever.
Do you have anywhere to go?
I don't have to be at work at my bouncer gig till 10 p.m.
Great.
So,
well, we're gonna have a 4-hour show tonight, everyone. I also feel like the Seth and his disciples against KO, Viking Raiders, and Joe is just starting to feel repetitive.
I hate the fact they took away Buddy Murphy's first name.
Yeah, it was just silly. It's not that I hate it because I'm so numb to it at this point, but it was just silly to me. I'm like, nobody has one name, and also Murphy's not an intimidating name.
It's not, but also like, hey, I'm your buddy. Like it doesn't.
I mean, from what I was told, the reason was because they said. From what I was told, the reason was
BM, so
was that
Kyoku,
they felt like the name Buddy didn't sound like a disciple. Thoughts?
I don't know what a disciple sounds.
You notice that both of us just got quiet. It was like,
I kind of feel like Buddy does sound like a disciple
because it sounds like you're brainwashed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like, I mean, not everyone.
Also, though, okay, quick other question. We're all making this. People making all this big deal about Murphy losing his name. But we're also, I feel like a lot of us people are forgetting that was his name for a long time.
Sure.
Like, it was Blake and Murphy.
Yeah, it was Blake and Murphy.
That's what they called him always.
True, yeah.
It was Murphy. When you all first met, when we all first started getting to care about him, he was Murphy. Like, that's what people got into.
But again,
and to be honest with you, most fans could not tell you what their full names were. It was Blake and Murphy.
That's all it was.
It was, people barely knew he was Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy.
EDM boys.
They were the EDM boys, Blake and Murphy.
You know, Alexa Bliss's former fiance. Now, certain things I just felt like need to be brought up. But again, most people don't remember where a lot of people start from. You got this new generation who follows NXT from jump, then watch the talent evolve and go to the different shows. But again, it's like I got so used to saying Buddy Murphy on Raw or Buddy Murphy's with the whatever you want to call this crew. Buddy Murphy's here. Now you're just like, Murphy's here. What is this, RoboCop? Like, what the fuck is
Because there's a lot of people like in life in general where like you don't call them. Some people you call by their one name, like
this is true.
Their first name or their last name.
I'm like one of those people.
And then you call other people by their full name.
Like people rarely call me Ryan.
Yeah. So it's very rare.
Yeah.
Like my friend Julie calls me. She's like, I have to call you Kevin Silva all the time.
Right.
And like I'm like, okay. But then like Buddy Murphy, like I couldn't. If I had a friend named Buddy Murphy, I don't think I would call him Buddy or Murphy. I would call him Buddy Murphy.
I'd be calling Buddy Murphy.
And so
Because I had a friend named Buddy Murphy.
It sounds so cool to say, hey, what's up, it's my homie Buddy Murphy.
It kind of rolls.
If I was in WWE, they would 100% chop my first name off.
Yeah, Satin.
It would just be Satin.
And you would be around there wearing sheets and robes and nothing else. It would be your whole
satin trunks,
just satin trunks, just sweating by the thighs.
They'd be like, okay, get those satin pajamas from Teddy Hart. There you go. There's now.
Matter of fact, you wearing satin socks too.
Sounds comfortable. So I'm cool with
the most
that.
Not to wrestle it. Not to wrestle it.
Yeah, that might be start sliding around and things.
What'd you guys think about Goldberg and the Fiend being announced?
Here's my thing: and I've already said it in I'm afraid.
Who have you already said this to?
I don't know, you guys. And a few other people.
I've already said this, but you haven't.
I've already said it to 10 people. But I'm afraid that this is just going to be Goldberg beats Fiend.
I swear to God, that is my fear.
And with one spear, no jackhammer, and just to build up to Spear versus Spear at WrestleMania with him and Roman.
Again, let me tell you this.
I'm fine with Roman versus Fiend. I would
rather have Roman. Let me tell you something. The Fiend has been electrocuted. Okay, he's been choked.
We're gonna get one spear.
He'll say he's had bricks broken on his face. And a spear from a damn near 60-year-old man is going to be what beats him. I don't give a fuck how much they paying to Saudi Arabia for this.
Actually, Goldberg's son is going to come in and do the spear, and that'll be put him away.
Well, you know what? Everybody in the WWE locker room would be like, well, we got a paycheck. Everybody at home would be,
If they were to do that, because the Twitter would cease to exist.
Because of course,
it would just blow
Here's the
up.
problem, because it has to be quick. You know why? We saw Goldberg's last match with The Undertaker.
Well, see, that's like the thing that I get it. I'm guessing that this is the Saudi Arabia, they want, the people, the prince wants him or whatever. But I just go like, I don't know how you saw that last match 2 matches, because he had the one against Dolph Ziggler, which is also
no one cares.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
So it's like, how do you see those last 2?
That match happened.
Yeah. How do you see those last 2 and you go, people didn't like that.
Well, you gotta remember,
how do we follow it up? Put him in a title match against the guy who's one of the most over people in the company right now.
Who nobody can see. Again, it's either he loses by 1 spear or loses by 4. It's just the spears are what's going to take the Fiend out when you think about it.
I'm gonna say, I hope, I believe that they are playing off our emotions.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That they know.
I feel like it's
that we remember. That
Right.
we fucking remember. Like we remember Kevin Owens.
I feel
we
like
remember CM Punk.
I feel like this is a beta switch with how we just assume that this is what's going to happen. We fear the worst.
Yes, I'm hoping
and then
that's what they're doing. They're
So
playing
here's
off
the
of
match.
it.
So here's the match.
But it might actually happen. Sorry.
Don't do this.
Don't do it, Kevin.
Here's the match. They're at opposite ends of the ring. Blah blah blah. Bell rings. Goldberg tries to spear the Fiend. Go right into a mandible claw. 1, 2, 3.
I'd kind of like that if you just caught him with a mandible.
Catch him with a mandible claw.
I just go like,
Let me-
why? Why?
It doesn't matter.
Why?
Why? Because you have gold.
Just so you can put on the fucking marquee?
It's not
Yeah.
It's not Vince's show.
Yeah, it's not. This is the one times where we get a show that's not actually completely controlled by Vince McMahon. It's just kind of crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It's not Vince as a
It's
whole.
not booked by
It's
him.
not booked by Vince.
I mean, it is.
It is.
It
but
is,
it's not.
but it's not Vince's show.
It is.
It's someone else going, I want this person, this person, this person.
Someone with
Vince,
heavy
make it
influence. It's
happen.
still booked by WWE.
It is.
And it sounds, and I mean, yes, okay, yes, you're right, absolutely. And it sounds marquee, and I'm using air quotes for those who are listening to the podcast. It sounds marquee to say Goldberg versus the Fiend. You know, the dude from what is it? The what's that? Forged in Fire Knives Edition. It's that dude. It's the old dude.
I hear Forged in Fire is huge in Saudi Arabia. They love knives.
Let me tell you. Then
Also, that show is good.
It is. Forged in Fire is actually a good.
It's
show.
actually a good show.
As a black man, I watch that. I have to preface that. People are like, why'd you say it as a black man? Because I don't know no black people that watch it. I've asked all of my friends, men and women. They'd be like, what the fuck is Forged in Fire? I'm like, it's a dude
You
named...
you definitely don't see a lot of black dudes on that show.
You
either.
don't see him on
No,
there.
you
Right.
don't.
It's a white dude named
It's
Will
a real
Willis.
white-
He always wears Chuck Taylors. It's 4 blacksmiths. At least 3 of them are certified racists because you know when they go back to their hometowns, you be like, ain't not that a damn colored person there. No black, no brown, no nothing. And they make knives and shit. Like, this is their livelihood.
Have you ever watched that show, Kevin?
No.
It's literally
What channel is this on?
It's
History.
History. Spike's not
like
existing
Destination
anymore.
America or what?
It's basically like it's the
It's a bladesmithing competition show.
where they cut.
Wait, Goldberg's the host?
Yeah,
Or-
he's the judge. Well, he's like the host because he's not the judge because there's like the guy who's the actual knife
Yeah.
expert. Yeah, he's the host.
He's the host of the different. It's like a knives edition that he does, but the regular one is a bladesmith competition. Where these
No, he's part of the regular one.
He's part of the regular one too now.
Yeah, he's the host.
Oh shit! Well, listen, I haven't seen those. I saw the ones where he was doing the like goddamn American Ninja Warrior version.
He does like the. Oh
Cross-
wait, is Forged in Fire where they only make it, not where they do the things with it?
No, they do both of that. Well, yeah.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
Because there is 2 knife shows, and I've watched both of them. One of them is strictly just they make the knives,
And then they gotta have a test to see how well it is stand
Yeah,
up.
and it'll break or something like that.
They make a knife and they're like, we want to see if it can stand up against a cinder block, and just like, oh, it just got a little chip. Bing! Oh, the whole thing broke, so you disqualified. But nonetheless, this is the
So he does Forged in. Okay, so yeah, that's Forged in Fire, and then Forged in Fire Knife or Death.
Knife or Death is the
That's
one
what it is the one that Goldberg hosts, and that's like a competition series where they don't do the whole making of it, but these guys show up with like their knife that they made that's like fancy that they think will be good for the course, and they show. And it's my
They
favorite
got
part of the
cleared
show.
by TSA to come flying with their knives.
Yeah,
Okay.
and my favorite part of the show is they have to present it to a guy before they're like allowed in the like arena to do it, and he like takes it from them and just kind of like stands there and he's like, "All right, you got a good knife here.
Good knife.
You know, like takes it, and it's the weirdest fucking
Good knife.
thing.
Bad knife. Throws it away.
But again, if you have him, if you're gonna have him lose, if you're gonna have the Fiend lose, this is the one person that it's like the only person I've said this. The only person I see beating the Fiend for some reason is the Demon, because it seems like the only match.
Roman seems like a good possibility too.
but Roman needs to pull out a gun. Like, you know what I'm saying? of not letting Roman Reigns just beat this dude with 19 Superman punches and 8 spears. He needs to shoot him in the nipple. That is the only way I want to see the Fiend go down by
silver bullet
with a adamantium bullet. Like that, develop the materials.
You want to say nipple? I started thinking about Ricochet's untatted nipple.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, because he got what? Damn it, Trevor. But like. You got to shoot him in the belly button or something. A cattle prod his ass, like literally his ass. Like Roman needs to have a cattle prod hooked right to the Fiend's ass on one of the black stripes on his pants, and just until the back of the mask just pops up. Then I'll be like, okay, cool. He deserves the Universal title. But
I like that. I like that booking plan.
What if the secret of the Fiend's power is his mask, though, and someone pulls it off?
I bet you that's what's gonna happen. That's how Roman will beat him. Because that's the one thing
if he gets that far, he doesn't lose to Goldberg.
Let me tell you something.
And Roman has to win the Elimination Chamber, guys.
Okay, here's the thing. I feel like I do it every time I hear it, guys. Sorry. Roman's great. We all just need to stop booing him.
No, when I talked to him at the Scrum, to be honest with you, is the first time I've been this close to the guy, and I was like, you know what? Like you can already see it on TV, but when you're standing like this close to the guy and you're hearing him talk, you're like, oh, it's very obvious why this guy is the #1 guy in Vince's eyes.
Stop booing him, guys. Let's accept a Roman Reigns title. If it's against Goldberg, I understand. It feels forced, guys. But at the same time, let's just accept it. He's a great guy.
No. You got to the Roman Reigns part. If it's against Goldberg, because he still has to beat the Fiend. Unless Goldberg is bringing half them damn knives from Knife or Cut to cut the back of that mask. Knife or Death cut, whatever. To cut the back of to cut those leather straps off. Because the only time I thought it was about to come off was during the strap match.
Dude, I didn't even think about it. Goldberg does have access to knives. He might steal your guys' mask idea. He's got a lot. Yeah, he knows knives.
Because I don't think Bray has a spare mask. I think that's the only version of the Fiend. Like that one probably costs so much. Like, look, it won't nothing happen to it. It's this one mask. Then next week, like, shit, I need another one. Like, because remember during the strap match, Daniel Bryan had the strap over the mask, and it started slowly moving. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Even when it was Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. The mask is the whole thing. So,
I think you're right. Yeah, no, I think it's the mask for sure.
So like you got to get the mask off somehow, some way. If you do that, I don't think Goldberg's smart enough because of course he doesn't look smart enough.
He probably hit his head before too. Yeah, he's gonna knock himself out before.
Right, he's knocked him fucking self out.
Yeah, he's gonna be all loopy when he's in the ring with the Fiend. Yeah,
because he's going. Goldberg's going, and the Fiend just go stand there, and then Goldberg's like, "You're not selling for me," and that's like, fuck.
The Shakira back at her. Also, when I interviewed Reigns, when I talked to Reigns in the Scrum, it was hard to ask about, the Elimination Chamber as if like he might not win. Like, it was like, if you win, who do you want to face at WrestleMania?
My money's on Bobby Roode. My money's on Bobby Roode in this Elimination Chamber.
The dude who just got back from a suspension.
Hey, he looks jacked now.
I mean, he does. He looks glorious, but he's going to be at WrestleMania in a fatal 4-way tag team title match, ladder match. They finna do this. Put the 4 of them teams together.
Yeah, they should have him in a team with James Storm. Bring him back.
That was the best team they could have had because Beer Money, and then James Storm was like, I really don't need it.
They should bring James Storm.
I want James Storm.
Just fucking do it.
I think it was his reason that he's got
money. Let's get into AEW. So
we have it already?
No. And we won't talk as long about some of these things, but I'll kind of just go through last night's show. So kicked off with Hangman and Kenny beating SCU. This is a fun match. This is definitely the signature match that kind of like is defined AEW, kind of just like, oh, you look angry. Oh.
Yes, I am
I look across the table. For those of you not watching and just listening, I looked across the table and just saw fucking fury in the eyes in front of me.
I understand.
Unexpected fury.
I get this is to push the storyline of Hangman Page turning, but do y'all have to take the best thing happening for SCU was them having them belts. Was them having those belts.
Yeah, but you gotta have it on the thing that's the most interesting thing.
Yeah,
and I also feel like
I love Scorpio Sky, but I don't think it's fair to say that as a whole, SCU is the most compelling.
I'm trying to say
team in AEW right now. Yeah, and honestly, what's going on with Hangman and Kenny is pretty compelling.
Yeah, and I also feel like Scorpio Sky just needs to have a solo run.
Me
I feel
too.
like I'll agree with this. The injury is what forced them to the situation. We just need to get back to how the arrangement really works.
Especially with how few black talents they have in the company.
Yeah, if y'all do AEW, if you need a big black guy, all
because
right.
Kong,
I got videos. I got stuff. Recent videos.
Well, I mean, like they went out and said like we're the diverse company, and now Kong's gone. Brandy's doing this interview where it says
also Kong has to go.
Still,
you know why?
But still, she's injured.
No, not even that.
Glow.
She's about to start filming Glow.
It's
again.
both though. From what I've heard, it's both. From what I heard, she did suffer injury. She hurt her lower back, and she's talking to experts like she is likely going to need some surgery or possibly like something like along those lines.
She's going to try to figure out how to hold that out because they're about to film
Glow. I know,
Ooh.
which is crazy because her lower back, from what I heard, is what's injured, which means that she's going to be acting on a show doing wrestling. She's going to be wrestling on a TV show with an injured back.
Well, they're going to find...
Which is literally the arc of her storyline in Glow last season.
Yes, it is.
I was like, wait, she's literally going to have the exact... She's in real life going to be dealing with what she dealt with on the show last year. That's crazy.
It'll work. They'll be able to write that in.
Yeah. But from what I've heard, though, that's not why she was written off necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Like, from what I heard, they had always planned for her...
to leave.
To take some time off to do Glow at this time. However... She did also actually get injured.
Oh, damn.
But that's not why they wrote her off.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
If that makes sense.
I got you.
But Kong gone. Brandy is now saying that she's only going to wrestle part-time because she said in that interview with The Observer. Sunny Kiss is rarely ever used on TV.
Which is wild to me.
Big Swole also rarely used on TV.
I saw her backstage.
Backstage in a picture-in-picture, and she's been used in dark. So really... Unless I'm missing someone here, it's just Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, you're right.
So I agree. Take him out of that tag team.
Let him have a singles run.
Let him have a singles run. Do something with him. Like, you can't go out there and be like, we're the diverse company, and then have only a bunch of white guys at the top still, Like,
no, I get you.
But I thought I got a little bit away from the plot there, but like, I really like what Hangman and Kenny are doing, even if it's messing. We've talked about this in ad nauseum now of like the talking the sobriety factor of things of him being like a drunk basically. But I do think it's compelling what they are doing with them. The thing at the end, I don't know if I loved all the tag teams coming out at the end, but I got why they did it.
Right.
And I did think it was interesting that JR called Matt and Nick the Bucks of Youth.
Yeah, I caught that, and I was like, but also, I just feel like it's JR being JR. And
you never know with him.
Right.
He's a wild card.
So, like, that's why I was like, that could have been something, or it could have just been nothing whatsoever.
And then who's going to tell JR you shouldn't call him that?
Right. Nobody.
Yeah. Nobody.
I loved his calls during MJF and Jungle Boy.
Great.
But he was like, when he you little jerk, have some respect, you little jerk.
Oh, yeah.
And then when JR did when MJF did the Randy was grabbing his balls or whatever, and JR goes, just shut up. Just shut up. And I was dying.
I was hoping they put a camera over there because I wanted to see JR standing up and just pointing away because that's what it sounded like he was doing.
I also felt like when Brandy was like, it's fine, JR. Like, just no one's paying attention. Like, I almost feel like that was not supposed to. Like, JR just kind of got a little pissed off, and he was like, and she's like, calm down.
You little disrespectful prick.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so good.
He would grab this dick hard.
He really did.
It wasn't even like implied. He just. That's the thing I love about MJF too. Like, he goes in this heel for sure. And of course, if you've been backstage and you know him, it's a whole different ball game. But he is playing this heel better than anybody we've seen play heel for a while.
One of the best heels in wrestling right now.
One of the best.
My friend Justin, he was on the cruise and he said that he took a picture with MJF at the signing, and then like they took the picture together, and right afterwards it's like, all right, later, fatty. And he was like, I love him for it. I love him for keep it alive. I don't really care.
MJF was great in that Jungle Boy match. I thought that he killed it. They're doing right with MJF right now.
Real quick, when we're talking about the Young Bucks being out there, I've AEW and them kind of showing focus on them as producers. Always kind of like took me out of the Young Bucks thing for me. And I was kind of waiting for something to turn with them back to something that I really want to see. And I feel like them at the end of that little scrimmage that they got going on, I was like, this is the Young Bucks I like. I want to see the Young Bucks like just be like hard hitters, and like I would eventually like to see them just turn completely heel.
Heel Young Bucks are the best.
Great. The best.
They're going to have to do it eventually. There's also too many heels in AEW right now.
I think that's the thing right now. You look around, how many real faces do you see?
And not only that, but faces who are people will pay money for.
They'll pay money for.
You know, and the Young Bucks are faces people will pay money for. I mean, they this wouldn't have happened without the Young Bucks.
Right.
You know, so I liked the Santana interview with JR.
Oh yeah, it was nice.
It was different.
It was good.
It was good. I liked that it felt like something you'd see on like a UFC kind of like documentary type thing.
Yeah, I like those like in ring, like empty arena like interviews they've been doing. Those are nice.
Yeah, and I felt like Santana, you know, we've gotten a little bit of build up with them, but I don't think we've gotten that much character building to him, and it did wonders for his character. Like you were like, oh, cool, I could see him wrestling a singles match against Mox now. To be honest with you, that's the thing I was missing from like when Sammy Guevara went up against Mox and is able to hold his own as long as he did. I go like, well, I don't believe it. I don't know enough about him. You know, like at least with Santana, I go like, oh, here's a reason. He's fucking pissed. You know, he's pissed about this thing. I can kind of buy that he's so angry because that he can last that long with him, even though he doesn't win. So yeah, I thought it was very, very, very good. The Darby Allin thing was cool.
I was gonna say, speaking of Santana, I mean, speaking of Sammy, where he, you know, we don't really know much about him, but he just, you know, holds those cards. I like that it was like him just be like setting those down.
Yep.
Just regular, but like regular pieces of cardboard. Though, like just the most obscure thing. Just nah.
Also, second black and white promo in a couple weeks where we've gotten somebody coughing through it.
Oh, was he coughing through? I didn't even notice.
Because he has throat injury, so he was like, every time he'd be like,
I did notice that Pac didn't cough at all in his.
Yeah.
No.
So I think his cold went away. I think his cold went away.
He didn't look as damp this time.
No, he didn't. He looked much
a little more
warmer.
dry.
He looked real
less
dry.
clothes.
Yeah, but he looked real dry. No,
Yeah.
it was supposed to be dark and rainy. It was supposed to be. They were like, well, just peer out from the corner.
We don't want you to actually catch a cold.
Can you just peer? Like,
You know what? The workout footage did
Yeah.
a lot too for some reason for me. I don't know
was
why.
like, he looked like a monster.
Yeah, it made him look like
Like,
this athletic
little
beast.
dude looks
this
like
is how
a
he
monster.
trains. He
Yeah.
trains hard.
Yeah, exactly. I also though I did notice I felt like it was that more so than in the past. I felt like AEW did kind of push the boundaries a little more on this episode.
With the Pac promo, how many times they had to bleep out fucking
bleeping things.
Yeah.
There was MJF grabbing his balls.
Yeah.
And then there was Darby Allin making that herpes joke about Sammy Guevara.
I mean, and then I think Tony even said the word ass on commentary, which is like, commentary doesn't usually curse.
Yeah.
Or it's usually just in the ring.
Yeah.
Fine. But just hearing ass from a commentary team is kind of interesting.
I think if you're trying to attract a young audience,
you have to.
That's what you do. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I love WWE. The thing that attracted me to wrestling when I was a kid was 100% like, this is the thing you're not supposed to watch.
Yeah, I think the fact when the ratings come and they see what the rating share is.
Which it was very close this time.
Yeah, so it's like
much closer than usual.
You love how much the ratings are being shared.
Oh, I love them.
Well, the thing is because this way,
I wasn't even talking about Dave Meltzer either in that thing. Everyone's like, oh, you were taking a shot at Dave Meltzer. No, I just saw some random guy talking about the minute-by-minute breakdowns, and I was like, I'm just, never really seen anyone talk, like executives talking about minute-by-minute breakdowns, like ratings. Yes, top of the hour, sometimes.
Even the Nielsen explanation was like, it's so antiquated of a system. It's the most pointless bullshit thing. It's, I don't know.
People were like throwing straight up insults at me today over it, and I was like, what? Like, why are you mad that I have experience in television and that I felt like sharing it? You've never worked in TV. Don't fucking tell me.
Or at least
I talk to TV executives. Do you fucking talk to TV executives? I didn't fucking think so, Semper Vivi. Fuck you. Moving on. Fucking loser. Fucking gonna talk about the things that I've done in my fucking career. Fucking loser.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Satin is mad.
You could change that I to an A in his last name right now. Let me tell you that much.
All right, moving topics. Dustin
So much heat.
beat Sammy Guevara. Do I cut that out? I don't even know.
No, you leave it in. No, you leave it in. You leave your true feelings in here. People need to know that you are a real human being, and you get pissed off at people on Twitter because everybody knows I do because I go in on people. And so now you have called somebody out who's gonna be like, Ryan just bullied me with saying with Twitter Day. You fucking leave this inside. Don't you take this out. Don't you be no bitch. Don't you be no bitch. Don't you do it. Don't you keep this in. You get this shit off your brain and start talking about Dustin finally calling out Jake.
So we had Dustin versus Sammy Guevara, and you know, I get frustrated watching Dustin matches now because he's such a good wrestler, and I hate seeing him wrestle like everybody else.
You mean you don't want to see him do the
Panama Sunrise?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think everybody was like, what?
Like it was cool when he did it once.
Like one time when we talked about it after that first match, we did it. It was like, I don't want to see him do it all the time.
And he's also not Ricky Morton. Like, it's cool when Ricky Morton does it because he's super old, and you're like, whoa, super old dude doing it or
Dustin
whatever.
is so talented. One of the most talented. He reinvented his body and his soul, and he came back working even better. And like, you don't need to have him doing all these. He doesn't need to be everybody else.
Yeah, like we have so many destroyers on the show. I
think there needs to be a list in the back. Please check with the producers if you plan on doing these moves.
Agreed.
Because you see so many multiples of them in matches, and it takes away a little bit from the match. Like,
yeah, honestly, he's always been one of my favorite wrestlers.
Absolutely.
So when I watch this, it frustrates every time I see him do one of those. It honestly kills the whole match for me because I go like,
it's
you're
not
supposed
special
to bring
anymore.
them up, not the other way around. Like, it's not special anymore. Like, yeah, exactly. If he did it like at pay-per-views,
That's
I'd
what
be
I'm
like,
saying, yeah.
cool, great.
It's also even like weird just to hear JR getting hyped on a Canadian Destroyer. I'm just like, what's happening?
I know.
What's
I know.
happening?
Look at it. Look what Dustin's doing. He's in the greatest shape of his goddamn life.
But still a good match. I can't help it. And honestly, I think Hager versus Dustin's going to be a good match.
And I love how they've saved Hager.
Me too.
Now this has been done perfectly.
Yes, agreed.
You know, like, again, we built up this whole time he's been here. He goes in the ring. He does a few things. He never has actually wrestled.
I don't think he's even really done like a move on anybody.
No,
really.
he just did like the
Holding
jump.
Yeah, he just does his knee to the nuts that he got
That's it.
qualified for and stuff. Yeah.
That's it. And so now, when he gets in the ring, you're going to have a bunch of people yelling, "We the people!" And I want him to flip everybody off.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, it should be a good match at Revolution. I hopefully will be there. We'll talk about that later.
But with Jake Hager, like, I feel like it was interesting hearing Dustin like shit on his MMA career.
Oh man, he went hard.
JR was just like, well, I mean, he's undefeated, so there's nothing really bad at a career.
JR be trying to, he'd be like, well.
I mean, you're really talking about things. I mean,
we want to bring it up.
He's undefeated right now. So.
I also think this is a big moment for Jake Hager here when at Revolution. He has a real opportunity to show people, like some of the other people in AEW have done, that like, I'm better than you thought I was.
Sure.
I'm not just Jack Swagger.
I'm not just Jack Swagger.
I feel like when he came into that last season of Lucha Underground, like, he really like was like the crowd was like really behind him because they really enjoyed what he was doing out there. So I just to put him on a live show doing that, it's going to be even better.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see his first match in AEW. I think that he is going to surprise people in that match. I'm pumped for that. We also had Nyla Rose becoming the new AEW Women's Champion.
Dude.
Here's my issue with the match. I am happy Nyla got it. I wish they would have pulled the trigger and just said, fuck it first. Just go ahead and do it. Fuck everything else. They should have just went and did it.
Yep.
My issue is Rio is 91 pounds.
Yeah. A lot of those moves are like that she was putting onto Rio. It was insane.
Insane. And then she never should have kicked out.
I feel like you're saying conflicting things here.
Are
you on the same point here?
Yeah.
Rio should.
You're saying, and let me make sure I'm on the same point as both of you.
Rio should have not have kicked out.
It's incredibly unbelievable for Rio to be doing any offense on Nyla Rose whatsoever.
I would say, like, I liked the way the match started and Rio just going straight hard with her, and that was amazing. And then getting cut off. Maybe kick out
a German suplex on her.
That was a snapdragon. Yeah, like
Didn't
what?
she do a Northern Lights suplex too? I think once. Come on.
I think the snap was a little bit like easier for me to like be like okay
because of the momentum and everything.
Yeah, but the Northern Lights, I was like, wait a minute.
Like, come on.
To kick out of that knee,
if there was some sort of muscle on her, but she's like
literally
skin and bones
from the top. that Nyla did. I can't remember the exact move it was. And she did it from the top and hit her. And then
It's Death Valley Driver.
it was a DVD. Yeah, my bad. The DVD from the top off the ropes, and she kicks out at 2.
Or like the knee to the back of the head, like the guillotine thing. Like
I'm so glad you guys are saying these things because sometimes I guess I sit there watching wrestling. Like sometimes I'll watch. Honestly, it was with Riho. All Riho. I've been watching, and I'm not. I've been trying. I've been trying to get into it. She looks like a child, and it's the most unbelievable thing in all her matches. So I was watching last night, just like I can't get into this.
And I know some people will go on the men's side and bring up Rey Mysterio. Because remember, Rey Mysterio for the longest was going against a lot of these bigger dudes. But Rey, the way he did his matches, it built up to it. You didn't see him.
Also, he made up for it by doing these things that you had never seen before.
Never seen before.
Riho's not doing anything I haven't seen before.
Right, and at 91 pounds versus as they're building her 200-pounder, and as you see, 3 times her size.
Yes.
This is not believable.
No.
I'm so so glad that you guys are on the same page as me.
I will
here.
say, to go the other way though. We do want an entertaining match that we want to see something that's like gives momentum, and I feel like it helped Nyla in this match to have somebody that seemed unbeatable for her at least, or like that she was coming off too cocky with her pins and everything. I feel like we needed some more excitement to that. However, with some of those moves, especially near the end, it was kind of getting a little more false finishes than we needed.
Like again, I'm with you on all that. I'm with you too, but you want an entertaining match. You want this match that has you going, have these peaks. You got now, you back it there. But then what happens when Nyla Rose's next opponent, who's bigger than Riho, she just runs through.
Yep.
She just runs through. So that's the problem I have, because now you got to look at these next opponents. When she eventually gets to Britt Baker or, everybody else, they're twice Rio's size, and some people she'll run through, some she'll have a long, an entertaining match. But it's like, it doesn't make sense.
They could have easily done Kofi Brock for this and have Nyla just destroy.
Yeah, they could have did a Kofi Brock, and nobody would have complained because
people would have complained.
That AEW fan base wants 25-minute matches for every single one of them.
Well, but at the same time, they do. But you have to understand, look at the difference. This is what can happen. Nyla Rose is a beast. She's the native beast for a reason. Rio is 91 pounds. 91.
Resiliency is one thing, but it's just when physics comes into play.
Which is also just suspending your disbelief. At a certain point, you can't. I'm like, I can't.
The Northern Lights
everything.
I was like, I couldn't.
Yeah. All right. I'm glad it wasn't just me. But great decision to put the title on Nyla Rose. I thought.
Absolutely.
I thought that was, like you said, should have done that from the beginning. Don't know why they didn't.
Well, you know why they didn't. You know why they didn't, because of the backlash they didn't want to catch.
But you think that's really the reason when they were trying to be like the people who were doing it different?
Do you feel that? I mean, I believe that, again, when I interviewed Brandy and Cody in here, they were like, look, we wanted to be all-inclusive, and she was great, the tape we saw, which is cool, fine. And the only reason I feel like you didn't do it is you might have felt like she wasn't ready.
Maybe.
That could be the only thing.
But you thought Riho was ready?
And that's what
you get Kenny pushing really hard for her.
Yeah, of course, but that, again, I understand, that's your girl. You're going to push for your girl. But, you got to look at the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
Everybody in this is not a Japanese-sized wrestler.
But not everyone's watching Stardom.
But also, at the same time, 2020 has been vastly different than what we've seen in...
Yes, absolutely. I honestly felt like that this was one of those situations where they were like, let's fix that.
Yeah.
We have our women's champion on TV.
We know what's going on
once
now.
A month.
We're good.
Let's fix that. Nyla Rose is always here.
Yeah.
And people are into it. Let's just switch. Yeah. I think that was a smart call. Before we run out of time, also, Jeff Cobb. So first Jericho hypes the arrival of Jeff Cobb, it's saying that he's going to wrestle against Mox next week. And then they show a video package for Jeff Cobb.
Looking very seductive.
Looking very seductive. And then at the end of the show, Moxley beats Santana, and then a beatdown happens, and Cobb comes out and hits the Tour of the Islands. From what I've been told, he's not signed with AEW yet.
I heard that too.
Which was very confusing for them to put out the tweet that said Jeff Cobb is all elite. Because that's what really made everyone think that.
Right.
Because they saved that for someone signing with the company.
Right.
From what I had been told, it's only for a handful of matches right now. Came together at the last second. There's obviously hope that it'll turn into something longer term, but he is also working for Ring of Honor and New Japan right now. So there is other variables out there.
So I'm going to play late to the party. I knew who Jeff Cobb was through other gimmicks, but I didn't realize he was that short.
He's definitely short.
It's very interesting to see him in that ring with Jake Hager.
Jake Hager and Jericho.
And Jericho even, yeah.
And I was like, I didn't realize he was that short.
But he's also like Taz stacked.
He's Rhino ECW.
Yeah,
right.
He's similar. He's
Similar
both similar
build.
in that regard.
Right.
He was more greasy tonight. Last night.
But also when you remember him in Lucha Underground, you were like, you thought he was like damn near 6'10".
The Monster Matanza.
The Monster Matanza was a big dude.
Yeah.
And so you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Again, can work his ass off.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's amazing, but it's just the size. I was like, damn. And I guess because of being in the business, when you see people you've seen on TV, you're like, oh, man, you look like you're 6'12". And then you see him in person, you be like, oh, man, you're 5'8". Okay. You forget that the camera, the way they shoot people and everything, makes everybody look so much bigger height-wise, and we're not going to get on size because the amount of people, I was like, oh, you got to be a month. Oh, you're just a guy who does pull-ups. Okay. That's what this is. But it's interesting to see that. This deal is going to be real interesting because if it works, that's going to open the door for a lot more.
Sure.
Well, not necessarily because he's not under an exclusive deal with Ring of Honor.
I'm just saying
he's under a pay per appearance.
No,
thing with
I'm
Ring of
talking
Honor
about
too.
he's not, Cobb's only being used for some appearances. This opens the door for them to do more talent like that.
Well, they've done other talent
It's
like that.
interesting
Like
'cause
Statlander was like that initially.
MJF is still doing MLW.
No, he's done there. He's
done?
officially done with there now.
Oh, okay.
But Jimmy Havoc is still doing MLW. There's still people who it's important enough in their eyes to the AEW product. We're like, we'll just deal with it. You know, like not enough people are watching MLW. Not enough people are watching Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor TV show is practically non-existent at this point. So it's I hope that it leads to more of that because honestly, I hope that it leads to like some sort of like friendliness between New Japan, Ring of Honor, and AEW. But I honestly don't see it going in that direction.
I got a bridge.
Exactly. All right, and then the brief amount of time we have here, let's quickly go through NXT. Dream had that interruption looking like Eddie Murphy from Raw, which was awesome, with the full gloves, leathered out. You know, I like the explanation for why he is focused on Marina since Roddy is no longer the North American champion. He's like, well, I'll take something else from you.
Right.
Yeah.
I liked all that.
Yeah.
I thought that was good. And Dream is clearly motivated right now. You could tell. I mean, you could tell when someone's like, you missed someone doing promos like that. Like, 'cause he's got a very unique, charisma about him. So it's cool seeing that.
I like the new thing with the 3 rings and then it turns into his glasses.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool on the video.
Yeah, I also like that. But my favorite thing of the entire night, throughout all of wrestling last night, was unquestionably
Candice LeRae doing a balls plex?
No. That was cool too. Was the Broserweights video package.
So funny.
I missed it.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
Oh my God.
so
You missed the best
good.
thing of wrestling last night.
It's like a different version, different take on what like Fandango, like what Rizongo was doing.
Yeah.
It was
but, like,
basically they were
A road trip.
a road trip. So it's, they had that giant trophy.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out how they're going to get it to Portland. And so first he's like, nah, bro, don't worry about it. I got a car for us. We're good, you know?
Yeah.
And so they put it
Convertible.
in a convertible and it's sticking out the back and they're driving, or Pete Dunne's driving, and then the cops pull them over. And Matt Riddle basically says to him, he goes, hey, bro. He said first he starts freaking out like stoners do when the cops pull, which killed me because
I'll do all the
I've
talking,
seen
bro.
everybody do that, you know,
Yeah.
like where he's like, oh, bro, he's like, I'll do all the talking. Just let me do all the talking, bro. I'll do all the talking. It's all good. And they cut and the car's being towed and he's like, I thought you were gonna do all the talking, you know? And he's like, well, I didn't know you didn't have a license, you know? And he was like, you don't have a license either, you know? and so like they're arguing, but it was really funny. And then he's like, I got another idea, bro. And then like the next one, they're on the
Echo
water.
Park Lake Swans.
Yeah, and they're doing the swans, and they've got the trophy while he's doing the swans, and he's like,
I was like, oh, they just filmed this. I was like so happy. I was like, I know these swans.
and he was like, he said,
So we're gonna just take the swan, me, you, the trophy, all 3 of us in the swan. We're gonna just take it all the way up. And he's
no, he goes, are we gonna take it all the way? And he goes, nah, bro, don't be silly. We're not gonna take it all the way in one of these. This is just my tranquil space where I go, you know.
That's right.
And then he's like, so what's your plan? You know, and he's like talking about, he's like, I got another plan, bro. Like, don't worry. And then he just paddles away. And the last one is Or he says about a plane. He's like, I got a plane for us to go on.
Guy.
Yeah, he's like, I know a guy. And so then like they're outside of a plane and he's like,
it's like a private jet.
Yeah, it's like a private plane. He's like, whose plane is this? Pete Dunne's like, whose plane is this? He's like, don't worry, bro. It's all good. Let's just put the trophy in the back. And then like they start putting the trophy in like in the luggage space. Yeah. And then like someone starts, he's like, oh, get in. And he shoves Pete Dunne in and then he dives in the back and he closes it. And you see.
He's like, whose plane is this?
Whose plane is this? And then as he's saying that, you just see Triple H walking up, like looking on his cell phone. And then he gets in the plane and the thing goes up and it goes in the air and he goes like, and like, woo, we're going to Portland, bro. You know, like.
They're the best odd couple. I love it so much.
It was so good.
Wow.
It was so good. Honestly, those two, I never in a million years would have expected them to become this generation's like head cheese, where like they're just such opposites, but it's so fun to watch together.
And like Riddle like occasionally does like a fake British, like a shitty British accent. And Pete's like, he's like, please stop doing that.
Yeah. He's like, oh, we're gonna put the foot in the foot or something like that.
He's like, we need to put the trophy in the boot. He's like,
that's what it was.
He's like, you need to stop. Just please stop saying
it. It was so good.
And like Pete like drives on the wrong side of the road. He's like, we're not in London, dude. He's like, we're not in England.
We're not in foggy London town
anymore. He's like, you drive on the right side, the right side of the road. And he's like, I'm not even from London.
I'm not even from London, mate. That was so good. I was dying. All of it was so good. If you're like Jay, you didn't see it, go watch it.
I'll watch it when I get
hilarious. And they 100% bring the best out of each other. I love it. Love it so much. Dakota Kai beats Candice. It kind of was what it was. Yeah. I felt like it wasn't anything too special.
I feel like all the matches on NXT last night were kind of it was what it was
last night.
I guess because they're saving everything up for TakeOver.
Sure.
And WrestleMania season's coming, so they got like
Johnny versus Cameron Grimes.
Yep.
And like that was like all the matches were really good. They were just like
these are just matches.
That is what it was. You know what? You're so right, Kevin. And the whole show, you kind of wrapped up a bunch of discussion out of the way in that, because I think that I can kind of encompass them all together. You're right. Johnny Gargano versus Cameron Grimes was such a good match. Yeah. Lio Rush versus Angel Garza was such a good match. Yeah. Adam Cole versus Kushida was such a good match. All three didn't really feel like anything for some reason, and I don't know what it was.
I mean, you get Lio Rush he's now the #1 contender for the Cruiserweight. You know, you get what's his name came out after the match.
Jordan Devlin.
Yeah. So they kind of have a face off, and that was pretty much like there was building, of course, that went on, but nothing that was like too groundbreaking that we're not going to see.
You know what? There was honestly there wasn't even a lot of character building.
No,
I liked NXT last night for what it was. It was not a bad show, but you know what? It was a good NXT show before they had competition.
That's what I was actually going to say. I was like, it was NXT before they went on to live TV.
Gotcha.
You know, I think that's really what it felt like to me. It was
makes sense.
It was another random episode of NXT that wasn't bad by any means, but when you're up against someone who is like, you got debuting Jeff Cobb, you've got title matches, you've got
crotch grabs,
you've got people cussing,
JR getting mad.
Yeah, you know, I think you nailed it right
Tony
there,
Schiavone
Kevin.
saying ass.
Yep, you nailed it. And I enjoyed a lot. And I didn't love Dakota Kai versus Candice LeRae.
I liked it a lot, but it's just
I like they haven't done anything to like get her heel turnover. Dakota Kai.
Guys.
They just changed her gear.
Well, that's why they're just like, this match is going to be a blow off at TakeOver.
I feel like the Dakota Kai entrance that she did when she first came back after the turn, where they had like the
repeated video
footage of it while she was coming to the ring. I was like, do that every week. Just remind everybody how much of a shitty thing that was. Like that just at least that adds something to it.
I was also incredibly disappointed when I noticed that they dropped that Titantron. Yeah. I also thought the same thing. As silly and minor as it is, I was like, it added something to like that's what Dakota's obsessed with.
Like, oh yeah, she's pissed off, and now she's like, look what I did. It's all about me.
I also felt like the Robert Stone vignette fell flat to a certain degree. It didn't really like.
I will say like it's at least a good. They had a nice backdrop.
Yes.
And I was like, for whatever reason, like to me, like it was like, you know, like that when EC3 was first coming in, and they show the vignette of him like putting on his pants, or taking off his pants rather, and it was like in a nice like sweet like a white apartment. It looked very clean like that, and I was like, okay, I like that they were like. I like when something looks kind of expensive and looks like they actually did. They like spent some time on like
Yeah, I agree. It had
dumb as that's weird as that sounds.
It has a good template.
Yeah.
The template is there. I just didn't understand really
And the fact
fell
that he's
flat in the first one.
And the fact that he's already like saying like we're gonna just revamp our image. I'm like, you were there for like a day.
Yeah, that's why. I think that's why it was so confusing to me. I think that's why it fell flat to me. I was like, what are you revamping? You haven't even debuted yet, really.
Yeah, it was. You debuted literally at Royal Rumble for like a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
and that was it.
Yeah, I agree. I will say the best thing besides the Matt Riddle stuff and Pete Dunne stuff was that Ciampa promo, where he was watching himself from when he had to relinquish the title. That was a powerful promo. Like when he was just like, you know, yelling in the camera at the end. I loved it. I loved all of it.
It really does drive home. This is a face. He's the baby face in this, and
he's angry.
He's so angry, but he's angry for a reason that he's like he needs what he lost, what he didn't actually lose back.
I don't think he's winning it at TakeOver.
Me neither.
Mania TakeOver.
Yeah.
Not this one.
No.
Jay, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Mr. J Washington. I was just checking it out right now. MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. And the Mad Titan podcast, everywhere you get your podcasts from. I get you caught up on everything happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. And March 7th, I am at Compton Mania in Compton. And March 28th, I'm doing WrestleFest 3 at the Ability First in Inglewood. I'll have all of it on my social media.
Great. Sounds good. That sounds awesome. What you said, Compton Mania?
Yeah, it's a show called
I like that.
I've wrestled at the show 2 times already, and it was weird. First of all, to say I'm wrestling in Compton, I was like, well, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah, it sounds scary.
Because this is my hoodie version of the T-shirt that I wear in the ring.
Yeah,
I was like, well, it's a red shirt with the black and red, the whole Bulls colors. I'm gonna die.
Like it.
I'm gonna die. But it was a fun show for a great cause, and so now they're doing it with the farms in Compton, which I was like, wait, there are farms. No, there's this thing, Compton Cowboys and all this. Yes, I know.
Did you just say Compton Cowboys?
I'm learning things.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
I found this out my damn.
Wow.
So yeah, we're doing that during the show, and it's been good. It's been put on by Sean Black and
I was just thinking that's like a reality show waiting to happen right there, dude.
Yeah, so shouts out to the homie Sean Black and Amped Up Wrestling.
One of those guys needs to get on Forge and Fire. I'm just saying, go represent. Kevin, where can we go find you at?
Childhood friends. They ride better horses. All right. You guys can find me at Kevin Gets Red on Instagram and Twitter, cross-platform. Also, at the Glass House of Pomona this month, on the 27th, Bar Wrestling makes its debut there, and I work there, so come say hi.
Any emo night plugs?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, you haven't not booked for the next emo night yet?
He lets me know like a week ahead of time.
Got it. Lit, you bastard. You can find me at Ryan Satin on social media. At Wrestling Sheet on social media, ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find the videos of this show and more. Like I said, I was at the WrestleMania 37 scrum this week, so I talked to Stephanie McMahon, I talked to Roman Reigns, I talked to Becky Lynch. Those 3 videos are all available now on the Pro Wrestling Sheet YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe while you're there, comment. I check them all out. Like the video, don't dislike it like a dick. That's just like common sense. But also, if you just want to listen to the audio of these shows, check us out on your preferred podcast platform. Just search Wrestling Sheet Radio. Okay, that's it. We're done. Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt and keep your eye on the show.